On a chilly, overcast morning, Arthur was walking to the grocery store with his father, Robert. The city's usual clamor was softened by the cool air, creating a peaceful contrast to the bustling streets. Robert, who had an important job interview that day, was giving his son some final words of advice. "Remember what I taught you, okay, son? I can't walk you to school today because of my interview, so you'll need to get off at the stop I showed you. Be careful, it's easy to get lost in a big city like this," he said, his voice a mix of concern and trust. Arthur, only 9 years old but eager to prove his independence, nodded with a determined smile. "I'm 9, Dad. I'm a grown-up now," he declared, trying to mask the nervousness of embarking on his first solo journey. Robert, feeling a pang of both pride and nostalgia, ruffled his son's hair. It was a moment that felt like a small, symbolic farewell to his little boy, who was quickly growing up. "That's right, big man," Robert replied, his voice slightly wavering as they approached the grocery store. The store's automatic doors slid open and closed, reminding Arthur of a giant mouth that swallowed and spit out people. "Look, we're here," Robert said, guiding his son through the entrance. They shared a tight hug, promising to reunite later that day. Inside, Arthur quickly settled into the familiar routine he had practiced with his father countless times. He grabbed a basket and started navigating the aisles, his young eyes wide with curiosity. The store was a miniature version of the city itself, buzzing with life and filled with people of all kinds. But as Arthur wandered through the aisles, he had no idea that this day would be far from ordinary. His life was about to take a turn, one that would test his character in ways he never imagined. As Arthur continued his shopping, a commotion caught his attention near the entrance. A security guard was preventing a woman from entering the store. She was clutching an old, worn-out bag, her eyes darting around anxiously, as if searching for something or someone. Her face was etched with fear, and her nervousness was evident to anyone who glanced her way. She seemed out of place, as though she carried a burden that weighed heavily on her shoulders. When it was her turn to enter, the guard blocked her path, demanding the store's entrance fee. The woman hesitated, her voice trembling as she explained that she didn't have the money. The guard's reaction was swift and harsh. "No money? Then why are you even here? Get out of my store!" he bellowed, his words slicing through the air, drawing uncomfortable stares from nearby shoppers. The woman, humiliated, began to plead, her voice shaking as she promised to return with the fee. "Sir, please, I just need to get some groceries." "I swear I'll come back and pay you," she begged, but her words only seemed to fuel the guard's anger. "You expect me to believe that? I know your kind always looking to scam someone. Get out!" he shouted, his voice dripping with contempt. Tears welled up in the woman's eyes, spilling down her cheeks as her despair grew. The situation escalated quickly, and it became clear that the guard was about to forcibly remove her. Arthur, who had been watching the scene unfold with growing unease, could no longer stay silent. He noticed that no one else was stepping in to help, and the injustice of the situation stirred something deep within him. The moment had arrived for Arthur to decide whether to stand up for what was right, even if it meant facing a difficult situation alone. Once upon a time, in a small town that was just waking up to the day's routine, there was a boy named Arthur. Despite his small stature, his heart was full of courage and kindness. One day, with a mixture of determination and nervousness, Arthur clutched the lunch money his father had painstakingly saved. This money was meant for a slice of pizza he had been craving for weeks, a simple pleasure he rarely allowed himself. Yet when he saw a woman being treated unjustly by a store guard, something inside him stirred. Without a second thought, he walked up to the guard, his hand trembling slightly as he offered the money. "Here, let her in," he said, his voice firm despite his young age. The guard, taken aback, could only stare as the boy returned to his shopping, his heart beating rapidly. It wasn't just the loss of his lunch money that made his chest tighten, but the overwhelming emotion of doing what he knew was right. Anger simmered within him over the guard's cruelty, yet it was matched by a quiet pride for standing up for someone in need. The store's routine carried on, but the atmosphere had changed, charged with the boy's quiet bravery. The customers who had witnessed the scene were struck silent, their eyes wide with surprise and admiration. Even the guard, usually so stern, was left speechless by the audacity of this little boy. Meanwhile, the woman, now allowed to continue her shopping, searched the aisles until she found Arthur. Her eyes were red from crying, yet they shone with gratitude and relief. "Thank you, little one," she whispered, her voice still trembling. Arthur, with a maturity that belied his years, handed her a handkerchief from his backpack. "It's okay," he said simply. "No one should be treated like that." As they talked, Arthur shared a painful memory, recalling a day when his father, Robert, had been humiliated for being a mere 10 cents short while trying to buy groceries. The woman listened, her expression shifting between sadness and shock, insisting she would repay him someday. As they exchanged stories, the world outside continued to bustle, unaware of the small act of kindness that had unfolded inside the store. Their conversation was brief but filled with meaning, and as Arthur prepared to leave for school, the woman watched him through the store window, her heart warmed by his selflessness. Yet as the boy disappeared from sight, she remained standing there, her thoughts still lingering on what had just occurred, for she was not merely a woman in distress, as everyone assumed. Her true identity was something that would soon leave Arthur and the entire town in awe. Arthur spent the day at school with an empty stomach, the thought of that pizza lingering in his mind. But even as hunger gnawed at him, he felt no regret, knowing he had done what was right. Later that evening, he recounted the story to his father. Robert listened, pride swelling in his heart. "Your mother would be so proud of you," he said softly, his voice heavy with emotion. Then, with a smile, he handed Arthur $10. "Here, son, for tomorrow's pizza and more," he said. Arthur's face lit up with joy as he hugged his father, who, despite their financial struggles, managed to keep hope alive. But neither of them knew that this small act of kindness would soon lead to a reward far greater than they could ever imagine. The next morning, as Robert walked Arthur to school, the weight of his own worries bore down on him. He had recently been turned down for a delivery job because, at 37, he was considered too old. This rejection, coupled with the loss of his wife years earlier, filled him with uncertainty about how he would continue to provide for his son. After dropping Arthur off, Robert went to speak with the school principal, concerned about the scholarship that was keeping his son in the private school. Their lives had been a series of hardships and sacrifices, yet through it all, Robert had dedicated himself to raising Arthur with love and integrity. Little did he know their fortunes were about to change, all because of the courage his son had shown on that gray morning in the store. In a time of growing uncertainty, the man found himself gripped by fear, worrying about how he would keep his son in school without a new scholarship or a stable income. As his son settled into the classroom and the man wrestled with financial concerns, a sleek Mercedes glided to a stop outside the school gates. The car door opened, revealing a figure of grace and mystery, the woman from the grocery store the previous day. Her appearance was nothing short of breathtaking. She was a vision of sophistication, her clothes and demeanor a stark contrast to the image of despair she had portrayed in the store. As she made her way to the reception desk, her presence commanded attention. There was a certain blend of authority and kindness in her approach that drew every eye in her direction. Her question about Arthur, coupled with the urgency in her voice, hinted at a deep need to connect with the boy who had shown her unexpected kindness. The school staff, cautious and protective of their students, hesitated, unsure of the stranger's intentions. Yet fate intervened, as Robert happened to be at the school, grappling with his own financial dilemmas. The receptionist, aware of the delicate situation, suggested, "You're in luck. His father is here. Perhaps you could speak with him, as we cannot disclose private information about our students." The woman, who introduced herself as Sophia, responded with the grace of royalty. "Yes, please call his father. I'll wait." Moments later, Robert was brought to her, his face a mix of curiosity and concern. As he saw her, his thoughts tumbled in disbelief. Could this elegant, radiant woman be the same person his son had mentioned a poor woman in the store? It seemed impossible, yet here she was, standing before him, more beautiful than he could have imagined. The receptionist announced, "Mr. Robert, this woman said your son helped her at the store yesterday and would like to speak with you." Robert's heart raced, not just from the surprise of seeing her, but from the puzzling memory of Arthur's story. The woman, whom he had assumed was destitute, now appeared before him as if she had stepped out of a dream. Sophia introduced herself warmly and began to recount her encounter with his son, her words filled with gratitude and admiration. "He was a real gentleman," she said with emotion, "offering me a handkerchief and even paying for my entrance fee. Such a young boy with such a big heart." As they left the reception area and strolled through the school garden, their conversation flowed naturally, the peaceful surroundings making it easy to connect. Sophia spoke earnestly about her desire to help the little boy, sharing how deeply moved she was by Robert and Arthur's situation, as the receptionist had filled her in while she waited. "In these times, it's rare to find such kindness and courage," she remarked, looking deeply into Robert's eyes. "Your son is truly special, and you are an incredible father for raising him this way." Then, with a sincerity that took Robert's breath away, Sophia made an offer that would forever alter the course of their lives. "I would like to pay for your son's education. It's a small way to repay the great kindness he has shown me." Robert was stunned, struggling to process the enormity of her generosity and what it would mean for their future. Overcome by surprise, he tried to refuse. "No, I can't accept this. It's too much," he protested. But Sophia's resolve was unshakable. "Please, Robert, I insist. You and your son deserve this," she urged, her voice firm yet full of warmth. Overwhelmed by emotion, Robert could no longer hold back his tears. Falling to his knees on the garden's soft grass, he wept with gratitude. thank you so much," he murmured, each word a release of the tension that had been building within him. In that moment, beneath the open sky and surrounded by the beauty of the garden, a simple act of kindness had blossomed into a life-changing gift, a wave of generosity and hope that would carry them forward into a brighter future. Under the gentle canopy of a sprawling tree, they sat on a weathered bench, the peaceful hum of the school grounds embracing them like an old friend. The woman began her tale, and with every word she spoke, a story unfolded that seemed more incredible than anything one could imagine. Her name was Sophia Rohr, daughter of a prominent luxury car tycoon, August Rohr. Just that very morning, before the world had fully awakened, she had faced a harrowing ordeal, an attempted kidnapping. With a mix of fear and determination, she recounted how, by some twist of fate and sheer willpower, she managed to break free from the clutches of her captors, sprinting through the deserted streets in the early hours. Alone, terrified, and without a single possession, she boarded the first bus she encountered, its doors a temporary refuge from the nightmare she had just escaped. The trembling in her voice revealed the depth of her fear as she relived the panic of those moments. Robert listened intently, each detail sharpening the image of the woman sitting before him. When Arthur had come to her aid, Sophia made a mental note of the school, vowing to return one day to repay the kindness she had been shown. With the assistance of a kind stranger, she managed to contact her father, who wasted no time in coming to her rescue. The kidnappers, caught on the city's security cameras, were soon apprehended, leaving her free from the immediate threat. Robert found himself awestruck, his mind reeling from the unexpected way their lives had become intertwined. Fate, it seemed, had woven a complex tapestry, binding their lives together in ways they could never have foreseen. As they talked, young Arthur bounded out to the playground, his eyes lighting up when he spotted Sophia. "Hey, you're the girl from the store!" he exclaimed, his voice filled with innocent excitement. After hearing the full story, Arthur was speechless, struggling to grasp the idea that his simple act of kindness had such profound consequences. Sophia, her heart warmed by his reaction, invited them both to a restaurant, promising Arthur the pizza he had been eagerly awaiting. His eyes sparkled with joy, and Sophia laughed, delighted by his infectious happiness. What began as a brief encounter grew into a deep friendship, with Sophia visiting them frequently, bringing laughter and a sense of belonging that had long been missing from their lives. As time passed, Sophia learned that Robert had given up on his studies, a fact that troubled her deeply. Determined to help, she spoke to her father, who offered Robert the chance to complete his education and join the family business as an engineer. The lives of Robert and Arthur were transformed in ways they had never dreamed possible. A simple act of kindness had set in motion a chain of events that led to an unimaginable change in their lives. Over the months, a blossoming romance between Robert and Sophia took root, and Arthur finally found the mother figure he had always longed for. Together, they became a family, united not just by love, but by the powerful realization that even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple out, touching lives and reshaping futures. Arthur's school became a buzz of excitement as the tale of his bravery spread throughout the town. The story of the boy who stood up for a stranger and was visited by a luxury car became the talk of every household. The next morning, the school was alive with chatter as teachers, students, and even the principal, Mr. Thompson, were eager to hear more. As Arthur walked through the gates, his classmates swarmed around him, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Arthur, is it true? Did a Mercedes really come to your house?" one of his friends asked, his voice filled with awe. Arthur nodded, a bashful smile on his face. "Yes, it's true. The lady I helped, her name is Sophia, and she's really nice," he replied. Soon Arthur was summoned to the principal's office. "Arthur," Mr. Thompson began, "I've heard about what you did. Your actions reflect the values we cherish here at our school, and I want you to know how proud we are of you." A warm sense of pride filled Arthur's heart as he responded, "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I just did what felt right." As the days unfolded, Arthur's story spread like wildfire throughout his school, captivating the hearts of both students and teachers alike. By lunchtime, the cafeteria buzzed with excitement, with everyone talking about the brave stand he had taken. "Did you hear? Arthur actually stood up to that nasty guard," one student exclaimed in awe. "He's a real-life hero," another added with admiration. Amid the chatter, Arthur sat quietly, enjoying his meal, his mind wandering to the whirlwind of changes that had begun to reshape his life. He had no idea that this was just the beginning of a remarkable journey that would change everything. As days turned into weeks, a new figure began to weave herself into the fabric of Arthur and Robert's lives. Sophia, the woman whose dignity Arthur had defended, became a regular visitor to their modest apartment, bringing with her an aura of elegance that contrasted yet complemented their simple lifestyle. Sophia's visits were filled with warmth, and her generosity seemed to know no bounds. It was clear she was determined to make a meaningful difference in their lives. One golden afternoon, Sophia extended a special invitation to Arthur and Robert, inviting them to her family's grand estate. The sprawling mansion, with its majestic gardens and opulent interiors, was a far cry from their humble home, yet Sophia's warm welcome made them feel instantly at ease. "Please make yourselves comfortable," she encouraged them with a smile that radiated kindness. Arthur's eyes widened in amazement as he marveled at the lush greenery, the sparkling swimming pool, and the grandeur of the estate. "This place is incredible," he exclaimed, his voice filled with awe. Sophia led them to a sun-drenched patio where a lavish lunch awaited. As they savored the delicious meal, Sophia began to share her story, revealing more about her life and her family's business. "My father, August, built this company from the ground up," she said, her voice tinged with pride. "We've worked tirelessly to make it what it is today." Robert listened intently, his admiration for Sophia growing with each word. "Your father must be very proud of you," he remarked, sensing the deep connection Sophia had with her family's legacy. Sophia's expression softened as she responded, "He is, but I believe our success should also serve others. That's why I'm so passionate about education and giving back to the community," she explained. As the conversation flowed, Robert felt a deepening bond with Sophia. Her kindness and generosity resonated with his own values, and he couldn't help but feel a growing affection for her. Arthur, too, found himself charmed by Sophia's warmth and the genuine care she showed for them. As the afternoon sun began to dip, casting a warm glow over the estate, Sophia made a heartfelt promise. "We will support Arthur's education and help you finish your studies, Robert. This is just the beginning of our journey together," she said, her voice filled with hope and determination. True to her word, Sophia's support transformed their lives. With her help, Robert enrolled in an online engineering program. Balancing his studies with the demands of being a single father was no easy task, but Robert was driven by the opportunities that lay ahead. Sophia's encouragement and financial assistance were the lifelines he needed to persevere. Arthur, too, experienced a profound change. Motivated by the new possibilities before him, he excelled in school, becoming a beacon of kindness and bravery. His story continued to inspire his classmates, who looked up to him as a role model. One day, during a school assembly, Mr. Thompson, the principal, called Arthur to the stage. "Arthur, we are all so proud of you. Your actions have shown us that even a small act of kindness can have a huge impact," he announced. The room erupted in applause, and Arthur stood on the stage, beaming with pride. He knew this was only the start of something much bigger. As Robert advanced in his studies, he rediscovered his passion for engineering. The knowledge he gained reignited dreams he thought were long lost, and he was eager to apply his skills in meaningful ways. Recognizing his potential, Sophia's father offered Robert an internship at their company, providing him with invaluable hands-on experience. Robert's dedication and hard work didn't go unnoticed. He quickly impressed his mentors, and before long, he was offered a full-time position, a turning point that allowed him to secure a brighter future for Arthur. Meanwhile, Arthur continued to flourish at school, driven by the belief that his journey was just beginning, and that with determination and kindness, he could achieve anything. With Sophia's encouragement, Arthur eagerly threw himself into extracurricular activities, diving deep into his passions. He joined the school's robotics club, where a new world of technology and innovation opened up to him. Mrs. Jenkins, the club's advisor, quickly noticed Arthur's knack for engineering and nurtured his budding talent. "Arthur," she said one day, her voice filled with sincerity, "you have a gift. I truly believe you can achieve amazing things." Arthur's face lit up with enthusiasm as he replied, "Thank you, Mrs. Jenkins. I want to learn everything I can and make a difference in the world." As the days turned into weeks, the changes in Robert and Arthur's lives also deepened their connection with Sophia. What began as a supportive friendship blossomed into something more, and soon Sophia became a cherished part of their family. Robert found himself leaning on her more and more, and their bond grew into a deep, enduring love. One evening, as they sat together in Sophia's garden, Robert reached out and took her hand. "Sophia," he began, his voice tinged with emotion, "you've brought so much joy and hope into our lives. I can't imagine my life without you." Sophia's eyes shimmered with tears of joy as she responded, "Robert, you and Arthur are my family now. I love you both more than words can express." Their relationship continued to flourish, and it wasn't long before Robert, overwhelmed with love, proposed to Sophia in the very garden where their relationship had blossomed. "Sophia, will you marry me?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Sophia's eyes sparkled with love as she smiled and said, "Yes, Robert, I will." Their wedding was a beautiful, heartfelt celebration, a true testament to love and unity. Arthur stood proudly by their side as they exchanged vows, his heart swelling with a profound sense of happiness and belonging. Surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues, everyone present was touched by the remarkable journey that had brought them to this moment. With their lives now on a new and joyous path, Robert and Sophia felt a strong desire to give back to the community that had supported them. Together, they created a scholarship fund in Arthur's name, aimed at helping underprivileged students pursue their own dreams. The fund provided not just financial aid, but also mentorship and educational resources to those in need. Arthur was deeply involved in the scholarship fund, often attending events and sharing his story with students. He spoke passionately about the importance of kindness, education, and perseverance. Education is the key to unlocking your potential. Never give up on your dreams, and always remember that one act of kindness can change the world, Arthur would say, his words inspiring countless young minds to believe in themselves and strive for greatness. The impact of the scholarship fund was profound, helping many students achieve their academic goals and creating a ripple effect of positive change throughout the community. Robert and Sophia's dedication to giving back became a defining part of their family's legacy, one that would be remembered for years to come. As time passed, Arthur graduated from high school with honors, ready to embark on the next chapter of his life. He had been accepted into a prestigious university where he planned to study engineering and continue his pursuit of technological innovation. Standing on stage during his graduation ceremony, Arthur looked out at the crowd. He saw his father, Sophia, and all the friends and teachers who had supported him. His heart was filled with gratitude and pride. Today, Arthur said in his valedictory speech, "I stand before you not just as a graduate, but as a testament to the power of kindness, education, and perseverance. I am grateful for the opportunities I've been given and for the people who have believed in me. I promise to carry on the legacy of giving back and making a difference in the world." The audience erupted in applause, moved by Arthur's heartfelt words. Robert and Sophia watched with beaming pride, knowing that their journey had come full circle. Together, they had faced challenges, seized opportunities, and built a life filled with love, hope, and purpose. As Arthur prepared to set off for university, he felt a mix of excitement and nostalgia. He knew his family would always be his anchor, and he was ready to embrace the future with confidence and determination. Arthur's university years were a time of profound transformation, where academic success, personal discovery, and an unwavering drive to make a difference intertwined to shape his future. He excelled in his studies, not just as a student, but as a researcher, diving deep into projects that piqued his curiosity and furthered his understanding of the world. His story of kindness continued to inspire everyone around him, a beacon of hope and determination that others gravitated toward. But it was during these years that Arthur stumbled upon a newfound passion: entrepreneurship. His mind buzzed with ideas, each one more innovative than the last, all focused on solving pressing social and environmental challenges. Determined to bring these ideas to life, Arthur founded a startup that soon became the talk of the town, renowned for its groundbreaking approach and its commitment to making the world a better place. Investors, captivated by his vision, flocked to support his cause, fueling the growth of a company that stood at the intersection of technology and social good. With his newfound success, Arthur didn't forget where he came from. He used a portion of his company's profits to expand the scholarship fund his family had established, ensuring that other young people would have the opportunities that had been so crucial to his own journey. This act of generosity was more than just a way to give back. It was a promise to pay forward the kindness that had once been shown to him. Robert and Sophia, ever proud of their son, stood by his side through it all, their love and guidance an unwavering source of strength for Arthur. Together, they traveled across continents, visiting schools, orphanages, and community centers, sharing their story and advocating for the importance of education and the power of kindness. Their message resonated deeply, touching hearts and inspiring a global movement of compassion. As the years passed, Arthur's influence only grew. His company expanded, and so did his impact, becoming a leading force in the tech industry not only for its innovations, but also for its steadfast commitment to social good. Arthur, once a little boy who had stood up for a stranger in a grocery store, had now become a celebrated entrepreneur and philanthropist. His journey was a powerful testament to what kindness and determination could achieve. Yet, despite all his success, Arthur remained grounded. He never forgot the lessons life had taught him along the way, staying humble and deeply committed to his mission of creating a better world. His family, friends, and supporters were always there, celebrating his achievements and offering support during challenging times. One day, Arthur found himself standing before a group of young students, sharing his story once more. "Remember," he told them, "each of you has the power to make a difference. No act of kindness is too small, and no dream is too big. Believe in yourselves, work hard, and never give up. Together, we can change the world." The students listened, captivated by his words, their eyes reflecting the same determination that had once driven him. They saw in Arthur a reflection of their own potential, a reminder that anything was possible. As he looked out at the eager faces before him, Arthur felt a deep sense of fulfillment. His journey had come full circle, and now it was his turn to pass on the legacy of kindness, compassion, and hope that had been passed down to him. Arthur's story was not just about one moment of kindness. It was about the ripple effect that kindness can have, the lives it can touch, and the legacy it can create. It was a story of love, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. In the years that followed, Arthur's life continued to unfold, with his dedication to making a difference remaining as strong as ever. He threw himself into various causes, using his resources and influence to tackle some of the most pressing social issues of the day. His startup evolved into a global powerhouse known for its innovative solutions to the world's toughest challenges, from sustainable energy technologies to educational platforms for underserved communities. Arthur's company was at the forefront of change. Despite his immense success, Arthur remained connected to his roots. He often visited the grocery store where it had all begun, a place that had become a symbol of his incredible journey. It was there, during one of these visits, that Arthur met a young boy who reminded him of his younger self. The boy was shy, but there was a curiosity in his eyes that Arthur recognized. He knelt down to meet the boy's gaze, striking up a conversation about dreams and aspirations. "What's your name?" Arthur asked with a warm smile. "James," the boy replied, his voice soft. "James," Arthur said, his tone encouraging, "do you know that you can achieve anything you set your mind to? Never stop believing in yourself, and always be kind to others." James nodded, his eyes wide with admiration. "Thank you, Mr. Arthur," he whispered. As Arthur stood up, watching the boy walk away, he felt a sense of pride and hope. The cycle of kindness had come full circle, and he knew that James, like himself, had the potential to change the world. Arthur's life was a shining example of how one small act of kindness could grow into something extraordinary, creating a legacy of love, generosity, and unwavering commitment to making the world a better place. As James looked up at him with wide eyes and said, "I want to be just like you when I grow up," Arthur felt a surge of pride and hope. He saw in James the spark of potential, a reflection of his own journey, and knew that the seeds of kindness he had planted would continue to grow. Leaving the store, Arthur couldn't help but reflect on the incredible path his life had taken. From the young boy who once stood up for a stranger, he had transformed into a man whose life was a living testament to the power of compassion. But he knew this was only the beginning. There were still countless lives to touch, dreams to encourage, and acts of kindness waiting to be performed. Arthur's life had become a vibrant story of the impact one small act of kindness can have, a ripple that grows into a wave, shaping the world in ways unimaginable. His journey, far from over, was a celebration of the human spirit, a beacon of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of compassion. With a heart full of purpose, Arthur looked out at the world, ready to embrace the future with open arms, guided by the principles that had brought him this far. As years went by, Arthur's legacy only continued to grow, spreading like a light in the darkness. He became a mentor to many, inspiring young people to chase their dreams and make their own mark on the world. His story, shared in schools, universities, and communities across the globe, became a symbol of hope, a reminder that each of us has the power to affect change. Arthur's company thrived, expanding its reach and influence. He poured resources into research and development, focusing on innovative technologies that addressed some of the world's most pressing challenges. His unwavering commitment to sustainability, education, and social justice remained at the core of his work, guiding every decision he made. Among his greatest achievements was the founding of the Kindness Academy, an institution dedicated to kulti,